The Berlin Climate Security Conference, now in its 7th year, is a coming together of people from all different spaces. It's a mosaic, and the conference is something that allows us to bring together all the different pieces, all the different tiles, people from different sectors, different countries, different ideas, to really cross-fertilize and understand what the really diverse, interlocking interactions of climate and peace and security look like.
Thanks for joining us for the 7th edition of the Berlin Climate and Security Conference.
The theme of this year's BCSC is climate, conflict and cooperation in a turbulent era. We're in such a critical moment where climate risks to peace and security couldn't be more visible. They're not future risks, they're playing out in front of us. And yet we're in a space where public perceptions and political will is kind of moving us away from this recognition.
There is still an old traditional way of thinking that climate action is to protect the planet, that defense is there to protect your borders, and that industrial policy is to protect your economy. It's old thinking and it's wrong.
Climate change exacerbates economic challenges and environmental degradation, also negatively affecting to prosperity, stability and security in the OSCE region.
We see there's a mismatch between severe vulnerability to climate risks of countries in conflict and the support that they receive. In fact, the more fragile a country, the less climate finance it receives.
We also have this perception that peace is going to be this clean and beautiful and easy thing. When in reality, I think peacemaking and peace building, it can be messy, it can be uncomfortable, it can be complicated.
It is an honor to address you on behalf of Peru, a country that is both rich in biodiversity and deeply exposed to the escalating impacts of environmental crime. For us, this is not merely an environmental or criminal justice issue. It is a matter of national security, sustainable development, and rule of law.
Scientific denialism at large doesn't matter the policy area, it stalls policy action. So this attracts anyone and everyone who has a stake in policy and action.
This year, we can see that security is moving towards this kind of hard security, more kind of military-focused set of doctrines, away from a more human-centered, kind of climate-resilient understanding of the concept. And yet, the discussions that we're hearing now at the conference, this is exactly the opposite to what climate security is looking like.
When we say security, we say development, we say countering inequalities, we say countering poverty, we say countering all forms of exclusion and discrimination. We see to fight underrepresentation of women in positions of power in the 4 elements of the Women, Peace and Security agenda.
The findings are clear. Anyone thinking about security needs to think about climate change as well. And the President of the Intelligence Service put it very aptly, ranking climate change among the top 5 security threats to Germany.
If we want to bring more capital into fragile markets, and if we want to bring more capital that contribute to climate and peace, I think first we need to stop treating fragile market as too risky and too complex.
And I'm also hopeful, I have to say, because all of these new initiatives popping up. Around the world, we see some of these new ideas being realized.
That will encourage really more humanitarian actors, more donors to invest in parametric insurance, because $1 invested can help to save $5 instead of waiting for humanitarian aid.
Prior to any reconstruction, I recommend to have the climate risk assessments and then compare or overlap that with the reconstruction possibilities on the buildings. Then we can choose where to rebuild and where to not.
Integrated climate, environment, and peace programming is really not experimental, but it's a proven model that delivers measurable impact. We've seen across the evaluation in Nigeria and all the other contexts that there's a reduction in violence, strengthening of resilience, and that there are outcomes generated that siloed and sectoral specific programs alone can't achieve.
Global multilateral action remains very important, but regional organization, or what we call regional multilateralism, they can certainly play a very important role. Why so? Because they are a group of a small number of countries. It's easy to build convergences. It's easy to find solutions which are very region-specific.
What is really important is to invest more in engaging communities, to build their capacity to make sure they have the ownership. So there should be a gradual transition of ownership, but also engagement. Inclusion, especially women, youth, and civil society.
The cultures and histories of small island states are more ecocentric because they prioritize the intrinsic value of nature, viewing humans as part of larger ecological web rather than its pastor. In Polynesian cultures, the ocean is a sacred pathway, not an obstacle. In the Caribbean, mangroves and coral reefs are providers and protectors.
The urgent always beats the important. When it comes to climate change, we cannot accept that. We have to deal with both, with the urgent as well as with the important.